There is a type of bill that almost no one puts on paper. It doesn't arrive as a payment slip, it doesn't appear in the bank app, and it doesn't come with a due date. Even so, it is paid every single day. This bill is called living on the edge. It's not just about having little money, it's about forced decisions, tight choices, and a mental exhaustion that never switches off. When income barely covers the basics, time starts to work differently, everything becomes urgent, the month never starts at zero, it's already born behind. And this changes the way we think, choose, and even dream. It's not a lack of intelligence, it's not laziness, it's not an absence of planning, it's survival. Few people realize it, but living under constant financial pressure creates an invisible tax. A tax that isn't charged by the government, but by the system. Those who have no margin end up paying more for absolutely everything. They pay more for the product, for the service, for mistakes, and even for bad luck. And the worst part, they pay without even realizing it. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, it seems like you're always running on a treadmill that never goes anywhere? When an unexpected expense appears, a repair, a medical appointment, a household problem, it never comes alone. It arrives accompanied by interest, fees, anxiety, and guilt. The decision is not between the ideal and the best, but between the bad and the worse. Paying for something expensive in installments seems like a solution, but it turns into a silent trap. And so the cycle closes once again. If you have ever lived through this kind of choice, stay with me until the end of this video, because you will understand why this happens, and more importantly, how to start getting out of it. There is a very repeated narrative out there that everything can be solved with willpower and spreadsheets, but no one talks about the mental exhaustion of making financial decisions under constant pressure. When the mind is busy putting out fires, it cannot plan for the future, not because you don't want to, but because you can't. Scarcity changes the brain. It steals clarity, removes focus, and creates dangerous mental shortcuts. It is not weakness, it is a human reaction. Those who live counting coins have to decide fast, accept whatever is possible, and move on, and every choice made this way charges a toll later on. Notice how small decisions start to become expensive, buying the cheapest option today even knowing it will last less, accepting abusive fees because there is no alternative. Trading peace of mind for immediate relief. Little by little, this builds a scenario where money does not work for you, it just passes through your hands, always in a rush. Have you ever felt like your paycheck comes in and disappears without leaving a trace? Write that in the comments, because this feeling is more common than it seems. And there is something even deeper in all of this, the emotional cost. Living on the edge creates silent shame. The person avoids conversations, withdraws from social moments, postpones dreams, and begins to believe that the problem is themselves, but it isn't. The system penalizes those who have no savings, no access, and no room to make mistakes. While some people are able to turn time into money, others are forced to trade money for time. They work more, rest less, and still move forward slowly. This is not a coincidence, it's structure. Few people talk about how the lack of margin creates dependence. Dependence on bad credit, on long installments, on quick fixes that end up being expensive. Not because the person wants to, but because they need to, and when needing becomes routine, the exception turns into the rule. Perhaps the cruelest part of this cycle is that it feeds on silence. Those who live this way think they are the only ones. They think they failed. They think they don't deserve something better. But when we expose the mechanism, the weight becomes lighter. In this first block, the goal is not to solve everything. It is to reveal what almost no one explains, the invisible cost of always living at the limit. In the next block, we're going to enter the heart of the problem and show how this system makes you pay twice, even when you think you're saving money. So, stay with me, keep watching, and if this content represents you, subscribe. This conversation only makes sense with you here. There is a silent trap that works like a well-tuned gear. The less margin you have, the more expensive everything becomes. Not because prices are different for different people, but because conditions push certain people toward more costly choices over time. It's as if the system were saying, you can participate, but you'll pay double for it. The problem doesn't begin with big decisions, but with the small ones, the ones that seem harmless when seen in isolation. Buying something in installments because paying upfront is impossible. paying a fee because there was no other option that day, choosing the product that fits the budget right now, even knowing it won't last. Each of these decisions, on its own, seems logical. Together, they build a scenario of continuous wear and tear. When there's no financial buffer, mistakes become expensive. Those who have margin can make mistakes and correct them. Those who have no margin make mistakes and sink. A delay turns into a fine turns into interest turns into a snowball. And this snowball does not grow because the person is irresponsible, but because they had no room to absorb the initial impact. The system rewards those who can wait and punishes those who need to solve things now. Waiting means paying less, choosing better, negotiating. Solving things now means accepting what is available, even if it is bad. And those who live under pressure are almost always in now mode. Pay now, solve now, survive now. There is also the cost of access to good credit, better prices, more advantageous opportunities. Those who have history, reserves, and peace of mind choose. Those who do not have them accept, and accepting becomes the standard. Little by little, this creates a gap where two people buy the same thing but pay completely different amounts over a lifetime. And it is not just money, it is time. Solving financial problems when everything is tight consumes hours, mental energy, and rest. Time that could be used to learn something new, seek alternatives, or simply breathe. But when the mind is occupied with bills, it does not create strategies, it reacts. Perhaps one of the greatest injustices of this cycle is the narrative that accompanies it. The idea that those who pay more do so because they were not organized. This completely ignores the starting point, it ignores the context, it ignores the accumulated weight of forced decisions. Another point that is little discussed is how urgency shortens the horizon. When everything is about getting through the month, the future becomes an abstract concept. Planning seems like a luxury, investing seems like something from another world, and little by little, the person starts to believe that this is not for them. Notice how the system does not need to be aggressive to be cruel. It only needs to be indifferent. The rules are the same on paper, but the impact is different in practice. And while some accumulate advantages over time, others accumulate costs. There is a detail that almost no one notices. Paying more is not just losing money, it is losing possibility. The possibility of choice, of making mistakes, of rest. Each fee, each interest, each improvised solution steals a piece of the future. And when that future always seems distant, motivation also wears away. And here is the most important point of all this. Understanding this mechanism does not fix your life overnight, but it completely changes the game. Because when you realize it is not a personal failure, but a structure, the guilt decreases. And when guilt decreases, the mind begins to make space. In the next video, I will show you how the system makes you pay twice, even when you think you are saving. And why trying to make more money before creating margin usually fails. If you feel like you are always tired, always running, and never moving forward, this does not end here. In the next video, we continue exactly from this point, showing what changes when you understand the game you are playing. Therefore, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and activate the notification bell. A big hug and thank you for staying with us.